downplaying the incident, saying it's just what happens in practice. However, this time, cameras caught it. Kobe Bryant has been very honest about his temper and how he deals with his teammates, saying earlier this month, if he's not happy, nobody will be happy. But back to the incident, Stephen A. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Laker fan. I don't think it was a big deal, but I asked you the question, big deal or no big deal?
It's no big deal whatsoever. It's ridiculous that this is even a subject in the nation. I can't believe when I'm reading the wires and I see this stuff being talked about yesterday, and then SportsCenter has got it all over the place. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people? Have they forgotten the game of basketball and how it's played? I don't care what team you pick. I don't care what star you pick. In practice for a team, this kind of stuff happens all the time. All the time. I mean, it's a given. And the notion that it doesn't is ridiculous. And people saying, well, you know, we watch the Lakers practice, it doesn't happen. It's a damn lie. If you've been exposed, usually when you walk into a Laker practice, they're done practicing and guys are just shooting free throws and stuff like that. But when guys are competing against one another in practice, there's a lot of trash talking that goes on. There's a lot of guys going at it. And you know, obviously I took the liberty of reaching out to Kobe yesterday because I'm like, look, man, I can't believe this is a story, but it is. You know, he said, look, man, it must be a slow news day. He said, I've been doing it for years. It's who I am. Everybody knows that about me. I've spoken to Shaq in the past. I've spoken to Gary Payton. I've spoken to Karl Malone. I've spoken to all of these guys. That's a given. That's a given. You know, I remember one time they went out, Gary Payton went out there, and he's like, you barely shot. Kobe Bryant was shooting the ball all the time. He said, young fella was hungry, bro. He was hungry. You know, and we got to give him the ball when he's hungry, because if we don't, he's going to have an attitude, and he's going to let us hear about it in practice the next day. This is what happens. You can sit there and talk to Allen Iverson, my man, Allen Iverson, all you want to. Practice, man. We talk about practice. But when he did practice and he was on the court, he was talking smack to all of them. This is what they do. Every star you turn around, this is what they do. This is what, and they look for stuff because, again, got an 82-game schedule. Got a whole bunch of practices in between. You can't be out there just all quiet and docile and being like a choir boy and then go out there and compete with the best basketball players in the world. That attitude is developed in practice. It's cultivated in practice. That's just the way that it is. I saw nothing in that video that I haven't seen from Kobe during games. I saw nothing in that video that I haven't heard about Kobe from practice from the time he was a rookie. I mean, this is par for the course. I saw no big deal about it whatsoever. And by the way, he wasn't disrespecting Mitch Kupchak. He was sitting there saying, look at these boys, Mitch. Look at what you got out here. These boys, they ain't nothing. In other words, they can't mess with me. That's what he was saying. But that's just me. That's just me.
And now we are talking and talking and talking about practice. And I am completely with Kerry and certainly with you. This is zero big deal to me. I had the privilege of attending the end of a number of Michael Jordan practices.
Oh,
and you want to talk about a show that got put on? Woo! It was always something. The language, the trash talk that was flowing from that man's mouth at the end of practice, the challenges, the dares. I saw in Indianapolis in an off day before a playoff game against Reggie Miller's team, I saw Michael, I won't name the player, dare a player to shoot him left-handed blindfolded free throws if you're that blank and good. Let's do it right now. And that player attempted to challenge Michael to left-handed blindfolded free throws, and Michael was deadly making them. It was just deadly. So it's just what happens. And in this case, just to frame it a little better, Stephen A., Kobe Bryant can't practice very much now because his body won't allow it, as he pointed out. He had not been able to practice in about 2 weeks. And remember, the trash talk emanated from Nick Young, who remember, in training camp, going at Kobe in a practice, tore a ligament in his thumb. And he had not been able to face Kobe in a practice until yesterday. So yesterday, Nick Young started going in on Kobe in practice, and as Kobe said afterward, he made the mistake of pushing my button. I'm putting words in his mouth.
Right.
He made it a mistake, and Kobe went crazy, like great crazy, because it's psycho Kobe crazy, and it's fun to watch because that's the guy we all love. That's the Mamba. That's the assassin.
Couple of things that need to be pointed out. Skip, as you know, I covered the Philadelphia 76ers as a beat writer. Before I became a columnist, I was covering them for years, and I was a beat writer for Allen Iverson's first 7 years, and covering those guys. Larry Brown's first year, Skip, the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, the great Larry Brown, the Hall of Famer Larry Brown, the Larry Brown who should be coaching in the NBA right now instead of at SMU. That guy, he said, look, practices are open to the media. And the players nearly had a revolt. They didn't want that because they said stuff that happens in practice is going to be misinterpreted. It's going to be overblown. It's going to create headlines, and that's going to be a distraction for us. And Larry Brown, after a few weeks, had to end up closing practice by listening to his players just because of this kind of thing. And to speak to your boy MJ, I remember one time, Skip, I heard a story about MJ being in an elevator with Scottie Pippen and a couple of the big men on the front line. I forgot whether it was Bill Wennington or I forgot who it was that was with them. But Scottie Pippen was talking about, come on, guys, clapping his hands. Come on, guys, let's go. You got to bring your A game today. You got to bring your A game. Game's important. Michael Jordan looked and said, A game? Their A game? And then he looked at them and said, why don't y'all just bring A game? How about that? Why don't y'all just do that? You understand?
That's classic.
I mean, now this is in an elevator. So can you imagine what is said on practice? I mean, it makes no sense, man, how people to sit here and to turn this into a national story. I mean, how ridiculous can you be? It makes no sense whatsoever.
I think that the video was interpreted by some Laker fans as Kobe yelling to Mitch Kupchak, the GM, who was standing on the side, as if these players, my second unit is so pathetic that they don't even test me in practice. That's how it came across, right?
Well, he may have very well been saying that, but it wasn't him being disrespectful to Mitch Kupchak. It was him saying, these boys can't mess with me.
Correct.
They can't mess with me.
Right.
People are trying to interpret it as, oh, he was calling out Mitch Kupchak. He was calling out the GM.
Yep.
You know how many times Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas or anybody, I mean, they just look at the coaches like, this is who y'all got to go against me, to work me, to prepare me, to go out there and play 82 games. These boys, they can't mess with me.
Yep.
How can that be misconstrued? It can only be misconstrued by non-basketball knowledgeable people who are looking for a reason to make a headline. It makes no sense. If you know anything about basketball, anything, this is a complete non-story. Doesn't even equate.
Although Kerry Champion believes that Kobe is now so inspired off yesterday's practice that he's going to score, what does he need,
31 points.
So he'll score 35, and that your Lakers will beat my Spurs in San Antonio tonight.
I think if Kobe were at the Staples Center, she'd have a point.
Okay.
I personally believe he'd like to do it at home, but that's just my personal belief.
Well, that's a good thought, perhaps. But I feel like Pop is going to take some pity on him. Rest the starters.
No pity.
You don't know Greg Popovich very well.
No pity?
Sorry.
You going to take any pity on Kobe?
No pity.
Nope.
Greg, please.
No.
Kobe needs it.
No.
He's chasing
You're
MJ.
insulting. He would feel like it's insulting
To
Kobe.
Kobe, I know, by taking by resting the starters. Yeah,
you respect somebody by giving your best.
Give him his best. So Kobe Bryant was just basically saying yesterday, Stephen A., why you got these scrubs out here preparing me for the game? In short.
It happens all the time. I'm in the media. I mean, and I only play basketball maybe twice a year. But that's how I feel when I go against most people. Why are these people against me? They can't touch me. Why are they bothering me? They're wasting my time.
What? One of